Hello everybody, this is Mong004 and welcome back to my channel. And I just simply wanted to talk about the fact that I finally got myself a PS5. I was actually planning on getting a PS5 actually in 2020, but when I actually went to go get a PS5, especially with the whole pre-order situation that Walmart.com did, I wasn't actually able to pick up a PS5 at that time. And I eventually decided to actually get a gaming PC. Because really for a couple of years, I was thinking about actually picking up a gaming PC because I wanted to see how gaming on a PC would be. Because I couldn't get a PS5, I just said, okay, let me get a gaming PC. So I ended up getting a gaming PC that had an RTX 2060 in it, a Ryzen 3700X, and 16 gigs of RAM, which that was pretty good to start off with a gaming PC. I didn't really understand as much back then about the differences between graphics cards and CPUs and, the whole RAM and all that stuff works on a PC. I mean, I understand the basics of what they do, but, I didn't fully know, well, what's the best brand, or is an RTX 2060 better than a GTX 1060? All this other stuff. I didn't even know the difference between RTX and GTX and, what made them so different. What was the big deal between any of them? And I didn't know that there were only like two different companies for graphics cards, AMD and NVIDIA. I just didn't understand as much about it back then. But I also didn't plan to get a gaming PC to just simply go about PC gaming in a casual way. I was like, if I'm going to get into gaming PCs, I want to understand fully how they work so that I can eventually upgrade my own. So eventually I understood what the differences between graphics cards and CPUs and even the different types of RAM. I mean, I know 32 gigs of RAM is going to be better than 16, but I didn't know anything about, take for instance, the frequency range and RAM speeds and what those actually do as far as like system response and so on and so forth. 2133 to 3600. Yeah, even things like the BIOS and even what that was, and DOCP and XMP and how you actually up the frequency on a RAM and even doing slight overclocking on a CPU. I had no idea what any of those things were. I do now, but I had no idea what those things were at that time. Those kinds of things were clearly something I just went way over my head. I had no idea, but I eventually upgraded from my original, pre-built RTX 2060, Ryzen 3700X with 16 gigs of RAM system, because that darn thing I found out was just not going to be cutting it all that well with the new generation of games. I mean, it could still work with that, but I'd have to turn like the settings down and all that stuff. And I didn't really want to do all that stuff. So because of the fact that I actually was more concerned about eventually building my own PC, I messed around with that system for a little while. And then I eventually went out, bought a brand new motherboard, got a new RTX 3070 graphics card, which I had to buy another pre-built to get that because at that time, getting an RTX card all by itself, especially the 30 series cards, it was hard to just find one of those all on its own. So I bought another pre-built, took out the graphics card and put that into another motherboard. I ended up upgrading my CPU to a Ryzen 3900X, and I ended up getting a new set of RAM that had 32 gigs of RAM. And I was able to actually go in and activate DOCP and turn it all the way up to 3600 megahertz. And again, I eventually found out how to build my own gaming PC, and I knew which parts to get and what I could at least get at that time, because I really wanted a 3080, but really couldn't find one. It's hard to get one, and plus they were incredibly expensive. So after building that system, I eventually took my 2060 system, got a new motherboard, got 32 gigs of RAM for that, got another Ryzen 3900X, and I now use that as a video content creation streaming PC, whereas my RTX 3070 is in my gaming PC. So I've been enjoying gaming PCs. I've been enjoying it. I much more at this point prefer gaming on a PC versus a console. I mean, I like consoles. Consoles aren't bad and stuff like that. But if I have the option to purchase a game on PC versus console, yeah, I'll definitely get it on a PC. But now that I've finally got myself a PlayStation 5, I like my PS5. However, though, I did spend more on the PS5 than the normal price of a PS5. I didn't get it for MSRP, though. I actually spent $1,049, which after tax, it was like $1,118. So yeah, I got scalped, or it was scalped, and I had to pay some higher prices for it. So kind of what you have to go through today with all the stuff going on with these consoles and GPUs and all that stuff. But again, I'm not too unhappy with not having the PS5 that early, only because although there's some good games that came out for it. Even without having a PS5, I wasn't too excited about the games that were coming out for it. Like, I like Ratchet and Clank. I'm a fan of that franchise. And I really like, the whole Ratchet and Clank story and all that type of stuff. I didn't feel that it was definitely worth getting the PS5 for that. Demon Souls I liked. I played the original PS3 version. And I liked a lot of the videos of the PS5 version. I also looked at things like Returnal. Looks good and all that stuff. But again, I just didn't think it was worth me going out and buying a PS5 just to play those games. They look impressive. I just didn't think it was worth me going out to purchase a PS5 just for those games. I needed, more. At this point, having it now, if eventually I go and pick up those games, which the only games I own now for PS5 is, Call of Duty Cold War. Only because I didn't have that much money left to buy any games after getting the PS5. And I already bought the PS4 version of Call of Duty Cold War. So once I got over to PS5, I was able to actually download and install the PS5 version for free off the PlayStation Store. So thankfully, I didn't have to actually pay for it again. I could just download it, install it, and start playing it and stuff like that. So I don't have anything that really showcases the power of the PS5. But for my money, I just didn't feel that there was enough on the PS5 to validate me spending money on it. I just didn't feel that it just was enough for me to really splurge out money for it. However, things do change over time. And now there's stuff coming out. Now I think there's a better time for me to own a PS5, only because those games I just mentioned, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, and even Demon Souls, now being able to buy all of those and at the same time being able to look forward to things like Horizon Forbidden West and eventually God of War Ragnarok. Yes, definitely. I really, really want to play those games and stuff like that. So it looks like this is a great time to own a PS5. Even if you were to get one a few months from now, I still think it's a better time to own a PS5. At the same time, the reason why I definitely bought a PS5 at this point, even though I really like playing on PCs, because again, Sony is bringing some of its games to PC, and that's great. I think that's actually really cool. Having more places to play a game is really great. But at the same time, I highly doubt they're going to be bringing their games to PC day and date anytime soon. Maybe if let's just say Horizon Forbidden West or God of War Ragnarok was possibly coming out and playable on PC really soon, I would have to say a couple months after they launched on the PS5, then I could probably say maybe I wouldn't have bought a PS5. But considering the fact that those games will probably come out on PC, probably a year, maybe even 2 after they launch on the PS5? No, I'm not waiting that long, especially for God of War Ragnarok. I'm not waiting that long to play that game. I really want to play that as soon as possible. So I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll definitely try to get myself a PS5 now. And I'm glad I did. I mean, I'm not too displeased with the PS5. Even the user interface. The user interface is pretty neat. I think there's some things that are a little bit more cumbersome than on the PS4 UI versus the PS5. Let's just say you're quitting a game or something like that. You have to go through a few more steps to quit that game than it was on the PS4. It's not all that bad. It's just a couple more steps. But that's not quite as smooth. But I've gotten used to it. It's pretty neat and all that stuff. And I like it. That's not too bad. The one bigger complaint that I have to have about the PS5 is that, darn it, it does not output at 1440p. And I really wish it did, mainly because, I have a 4K TV, but I mainly play all my games on PC monitors now. And I don't own a 4K monitor, mainly because I don't play any of my games on my PC at 4K. I pretty much keep everything at 1440p because I want to be able to have good enough graphics while at the same time having higher frame rates. So I don't output anything at 4K, just 1440p. And in order to have my PS5 to output on my 1440p monitor, it's outputting it at 4K, but I guess it downgrades it on the monitor to around 1440p, and it kind of looks a little blurry, whereas 1440p it looks clear, which it will because it's not the same resolution, but it's all right. I wish it did output its video at 1440p, but that's not a big gripe. Hopefully Sony does include that. I don't know if they will, but hopefully they do. But so far, I just wanted to talk about the fact that I finally got a PS5. I think it's a neat system. Price to performance versus a gaming PC right now, I think the consoles, whether it be the PS5 or the Xbox Series X, are the better choice to go with. Even though I prefer PC, everything going on with PC right now with the prices of the graphics cards, it's just not only more expensive to game on PC, but just the price to performance. You get great performance out of a PC, but what you get for the price of an Xbox Series X or PS5, even if it is $1,000, it ain't bad. I mean, when I look at the price that it would cost me to build the current PC that I have now with like an RTX 3070, not even a 3070 Ti, but an RTX 3070, which will cost you close to or above $1,000. That's just the graphics card, okay? Then getting, let's just say a 3900X, which is going to cost you about 400 and something, and then backing that up with some decent RAM and all that type of stuff, it would cost me more than a PS5. And when you look at the price to performance, yeah, it's going to perform better on that PC, but my God, the consoles are the better thing to go with right now. I mean, gaming PCs have always been more expensive than consoles, but my God, I could pay, $1049 or $1188 after taxes for, my PS5, or I could spend about, I don't know, $1,700, $1,800. And that's not even counting like the motherboard to get like a gaming PC with a 3070, a 3900X and all that stuff. Maybe you could go with a 3700X, but even then, I just don't think that the price difference would cut it versus what a PS5 can do for just the, $1049 that I spent on it. I already have my gaming PC already, and I already have my PS5 now, but looking at the price difference, I just don't think it'd be worth it at this time, at least not for me. I mean, unless you really, really want to get into PC gaming. But I mean, for me, I think currently, if you don't own a PS5 or PC, it's probably better to get a PS5 right now when it comes to price and what it can do. PS5 is not a bad console. Too bad we have to pay these high prices above MSRP, but hey, that's just the way it is right now. It's just the way it is. But I just wanted to put this video out there, just talking about this stuff. Eventually, I will be uploading some gameplay videos of hopefully Horizon Forbidden West and God of War Ragnarok. I might eventually go back and get Ratchet and Clank and even Returnal. I don't know about Demon's Souls. I'm not too sure, but I might make some gameplay videos of those games in due time when I get those games, because right now I don't have the money to buy those games, but I will eventually do that. But I thank you very much for checking out this video. And if you like the video, please hit the like button, please subscribe, hit the bell to be notified the next time I actually publish a video. And at the same time, hit me up in the comment section and let me know what you think. Or let me know about other things like, do you have a PS5? Are you still waiting to get one? Is it really hard for you to get one? Do you normally game on PC? Or are you waiting for new PC parts to come out? You waiting for the Intel GPU? I forgot to talk about that. That looks pretty darn good. At the same time, do you game on Xbox? Do you like the Xbox Series X? I'm not against any brand or platform that people like. I think it's great. So long as you enjoy what you got, man, I think that's just absolutely wonderful. At the same time, check out my other videos. I usually make gameplay videos where I have commentary during gaming, so check those out. You might actually like them. But as always, thank you very much for watching the video, and until next time, this is Mong004, and I am out. Take care.